What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 87 of Breaking Debates. I got Zach here with me on the scene once again. We're going to be continuing putting up some more videos up today, but now go ahead and go with what we wanted to go ahead and talk about, more specifically me, Halo versus Gears of War. Now, I don't know about you. I know you have played some of the games between both of them, but I'm a huge fan of both of the series, and I think they're both pretty awesome.
I'm a fan of both of the series. I've just only played up to 3 on both of them.
Okay, up to 3. Okay, we'll make the formula that then. You played some Reach, haven't you?
I played ODST.
Alright, we'll go ahead and limit.
So I guess ODST is my highest on Halo, but 3 is my highest on Gears.
Okay, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and limit it to just 1, 2, and 3 on both of them.
Okay.
Alright. Now, I haven't played 5, but I did play 4. And I played 4 in Halo, but I hadn't played 4 in Gears of War. I hadn't played 5 on Halo. So that makes me a very terrible fan. But having said that, we'll go ahead and do it with the 1, 2, and 3. Now, alright. Overall impressions on either of both franchises. Go ahead and go.
In Gears, I liked the mechanics, the cover-to-cover mechanics. And that game worked very well. The story flowed. I think the story in Gears flowed pretty well, but I know with what they've done to it now, I'm not a big fan of it, even though I haven't actually played the latest game. But from what I've seen played and what our friend Ray has played, I don't really care too much for the story as they've taken it now. I think honestly they would have done better if they would have just left it off where 3 ended it. I think that would have just been a great breaking point. Just kill it right there. But game studios, they just want to keep things going as far as they possibly can, milking it for all it's worth.
All it's worth.
But Halo I liked up until 3, but maybe Halo has done better since they continued from 3. But I can't really say too much about that since I haven't played it.
4 was awesome.
Well, yeah, but I can't speak for that.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my little impressions too. I think both series are actually pretty good. Both of them, show this present a war between mankind and some type of species that's willing to wipe them out for one reason or another, and they have interesting stories. And my deal. I don't mind if they keep it going, but I don't think they should go even with both of them because I like the characters in both of them. But I don't think they should continue to do it through just solely them. It's a war. So there's millions of people involved. So
yeah,
those are different stories.
It's kind of like if you go back to the old Call of Duty days, when Call of Duty introduced Big Red 1 and stuff, you were literally a single squad of soldiers, and you were fighting like the entire Nazi army. But yet it seemed like you were able to win just you and this 4-man squad, and yet you somehow took on the entire Nazi regime. But yeah, I kind of get that feeling from Gears of War in a way. It's like, okay, guys, you're a squad of Gears, and you alone are somehow expected to take on all the Locusts, and like you're the only one that can do the job for some reason. But you never really see any of the other Gears helping you up until maybe 3.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it does feel like in both games. I say it does.
Oh yeah, definitely in Halo too. Because
Yeah.
you're Master Chief. Most of the time, you're alone.
Mm-hmm.
You are one man, one Marine, taking on all the Covenant, and that's something I don't really like in a lot of games. I like to feel if you're going to be in a war like that, I want to feel like it's you and like an entire division of of your allies all going head on into a battle.
Yeah. So
but
you and your army versus them and their army, and not them and their army just versus you.
Yeah, and that's something that Gears of War and Halo didn't do very well with. because it just felt like it was you.
Mm-hmm.
You were the standalone, and I don't like that in a lot of games.
All right, we'll go ahead and go. Start going down the list. All right, campaign wise, which one you think did better with their campaigns? Because honestly, they're both pretty linear, especially considering they're both more story based. As far as the campaign experience, I want to give it to them both even because I think they both established stories. I think that the campaigns were both challenging in their in their own right. They're both linear. They're both pretty challenging. And it's always fun playing with somebody else on co-op.
I'm kind of gonna give it to Gears of War a little bit more because I think that their campaign was a little bit better grounded than Halo's.
Okay.
Halo's seemed to not necessarily jump all over the place, but it seemed like they were always introducing new aspects into the campaign, into the story that you really wouldn't think of. And sometimes it would hit you kind of like out of the blue in a way. Whereas Gears, it was more grounded. Like, fighting the Locust was much more linear than fighting the Covenant. Because fighting the Covenant, almost anything can happen. And the Flood.
Mm-hmm.
The Flood kind of complicated things. And it kind of like split up. I kind of feel like it divided the attention because it was like, okay, well, first you would fight the Covenant, then you would fight the Flood, then you're fighting the Covenant again. But with Gears, it's just you're just really fighting one enemy. To be honest, you could argue that the Lambent are different, and yeah, maybe they are, but in the end, it's still kind of the same enemy.
All right, I'll even ask you this: the Locust or the Covenant? Now the Locusts are pretty cool, but I think the Covenant.
I like the Covenant because of their technology.
All right, what about the Lambent or the Flood?
I gotta give it to the Lambent on that one.
I'm kind of mixed, and I think the reason why I'm mixed is because even though they're both technically kind of, I mean, the
Lambent to me was more fun to fight.
The Lambent were more of an after effect rather than actual infection or something.
Yeah.
Whereas the Flood was an actual infection. I guess as an organized group, I would give it to the Flood, but you're right. The Lambent did provide some really interesting fights, especially the Berserker. The Lambent.
Well, because the Lambent were organized, the Flood wasn't. The Flood was just.
But the Flood started off seemingly unorganized, but then as the games kind of went on, they started to become more organized. Then you find out there's actually they actually have a hive mind, and that there is something that's telling them what to do.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of loose on that aspect.
Okay, so. Okay, they had the ups and downs on each one.
Like I said, they're extremely similar in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, we talked about the campaign. What about the actual story? Which one do you think has a more grounded, more well-written, more compelling story? And to me, it's a tough call because, again, it's both of them are humanity facing
extinction.
And for various reasons. In Gears of War, it's revealed that, which I'm gonna go. In fact, I'll just go ahead and explain it. Gears of War is about this military group known as Gears trying to defend humanity against this underground race of beings known as the Locusts, who have basically said that they're going to exterminate humanity. And it isn't until about the second or third game you find out the reason why they're waging war against humanity is because there is a substance that's underground known as emotion.
Yep.
And the emotion, due to the locust exposure to it, is starting to infect them. And they're running, and it's starting to kind of run rampant. So they're trying to run from the Lambent, which are the infected locusts, mm-hmm. and the infected creatures. So they're running from them. And then in the story of Halo, you have a similar tale where, except it's not on Earth; it's in space, and humanity is branched out over the galaxy, only to end up encountering this collective group of aliens known as the Covenant. Now, the Covenant basically wage war on humanity because they see humanity as a blight to the existence of these super advanced aliens known as the Forerunners.
Basically, humanity is insignificant to them.
Yeah, they kind of see them as like in the way, so they decided to just wipe out humanity.
Well, think about it. If you're an advanced alien species and you're conquering the galaxy and you're advancing your technology and your civilization, and all of a sudden you encounter humanity who is vastly insuperior to you and is basically just in your way, because they're also, by that stage, humanity is also trying to make their way throughout the galaxy, though they're still a very young race compared to the aliens. You know, the alien race thinks, well, here are these young cats that are in our neighborhood, and, you know, we have the technology, we have the numbers, we're going to squash them. So you kind of have to understand it from their perspective, too.
And the Covenant believe in this, I don't know if it's a prophecy or this religion called the Great Journey, where they all will, like, ascend. If they can find the Forerunner technology, they can ascend to, I don't know, some alien heaven or something like that. And that's another reason why they're like wiping out humans, because they feel like humans are a threat to that. But I mean, what do you think about this actual stories? Like, which one do you think actually kind of is more compelling? I'm stuck. I'm kind of like in the middle.
When it comes to story, I can't really decide, to be honest. Maybe Halo's is a little bit better, because you've got the, not only is it about the Covenant and, you know, humanity, but you've also got the chemistry with Master Chief and Cortana thrown in there, which apparently everyone seems to love very much. Not that I never really cared about the whole Cortana Master Chief thing. But sorry, that was my phone.
I thought that was mine.
But then again, in Gears, you have the whole thing with Marcus and his dad, and then that continues on until the next Gears of War, where I think it's Marcus's son, and so I can't really say, because they each have their own like crucial focal points that you have to kind of concentrate on. And
then, like we had said earlier, both of them do have this point where they're fighting one enemy, but then another enemy ends up surfacing. That's a threat to both of them.
I see a lot of games do that these days, because you can't just have one faction fighting one other faction, because it gets dull very quickly if you do that.
And I think another thing I will say is, I think I might give it to Halo, because in Halo, it started in 2, the Covenant fractured. It was an actual civil war.
Yeah.
Even amongst the flood and the humans and everything, it was and then in 3, what happened? Some of the Covenant actually banded with humans to help end this war. But then again, I'm not sure, because like you said, they both have really good stories. They both have that little twist and the little side stories and things, which I will say we can actually lead into the next point, which you brought up, was the characters. Like, which one do you think has the better characters?
I think Gears of War does.
Yeah, I like Halo, but they don't have that as many standout characters as Gears of War.
Not even ODST didn't. ODST didn't even stand out with its squad-based system that it did have. Fighting as the Marines. I felt way more attached to the characters in Gears of War than I ever did in Halo. Like Halo, I just didn't give a damn.
Okay, I can understand that, because at least in Gears of War you have continuous focus on Delta Squad.
Yeah.
Which is mostly Marcus, Dom, Baird, and Cole. and then throughout each game, you get a new character. You know, they change up, especially in 3.
Yeah.
But in Halo, there's not as much focus on the characters.
Like I said, the only 2 characters in Halo that anyone really ever seems to care about is Master Chief and Cortana. And Cortana is just an AI.
And it's mostly because it's just them.
Yeah. And they don't focus on anything else or anybody else. And like I said, ODST tried to shed some light on what the other Marines are about, but it barely did anything to make anything in that game relevant. You didn't care about any of the characters in the game. You just really cared about yourself.
Yeah. And I know I said I wasn't going to bring too much focus on to any of the other ones. But 4, I will say, made up for the rest of the Halos, especially focusing on the relationship between Cortana and Master Chief. It did, when I say a phenomenal job focusing on them, like, yes, by the end of the game, you were, like, crying. Like, that's how good a job was. But,
I especially think in Halo 1 through 3, it was basically, you know, Bungie cranking out games saying, hey, you know, everyone wants a game where you can go around and shoot aliens and you're some superpowered human. Here you go.
In the first 3 games, they kind of touch on it. Like, in the first game, they're learning how to work together. In the second game, you can kind of see that they're a little bit more attached. By the third game, you can see that they're actually, which is when, you know, Cortana's kind of trying to get to him, and in that one point in the game where he manages to get to her and she's like, "You came for me," and all that. Like, that's like one of the few moments where it's like, you know, you actually see that there's actually that relationship. But in Gears of War, like you said, it's almost every game. There's multiple moments. What happened to Dom in the second game?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, when Dom finds his wife, goes through hell and high water to go get her, and then when he finds her, she looks like crap because she's been tortured. In fact, tortured, I don't think is the word. We don't know what the hell they didn't have to make up a new word for what the hell they did to that girl. That was messed up. But yeah, I think you're right. Gears of War does a better job, especially with the characters. But Halo does have some standout characters. They just don't get the, like, Johnson.
They don't touch on him enough.
Avery Johnson, awesome guy. One of those drill sergeants that, like, talks crap. I love him. You got the Arbiter, you know. He's introduced in the second one. And you can see that he, like, him and Master Chief, initially enemies, they do end up having a respect for each other in the third game.
Yeah.
You have Miranda Keyes. She's awesome. I really wish she'd had more screen time too. And that's about it. They got maybe 1 or 2 other characters, but again, what does Gears of War have? You got Dom, Marcus, Baird, Cole.
And throughout the games, they're always introducing new people that are just as memorable.
Sam, Samantha, Jace, what's the girl? Anya.
Even Jax.
Mm-hmm.
And Jax is just a fucking robot.
Yeah. What was the dude from the DLC, the bald-headed guy with the really thick beard that was talking a lot of smack? He always smoked a cigarette. I can't remember his name, but he was one of my favorite characters. Crud. I don't remember. But tell me to do a video of the freaking train. Good God.
Hopefully it won't turn out too bad.
Yeah, it's going that way, so it's good. But okay, I can admit to that. Yeah, the characters. There's definitely a good focus of characters for Gears of War. So Gears of War takes the cake. Takes it. What's the name for the characters? All right then. We can go to the gameplay. Which one you think features a better gameplay system?
Gears of War.
Okay. Third person, over the shoulder, cover system. I can get behind you on that. Halo,
even though sometimes it's kind of annoying, the cover system wasn't perfect, especially in the first couple games, but they kind of nailed it pretty much on the third game. They got it to where it worked fluidly. It wasn't as glitchy. I love the dive and roll system that they implemented. Was great. the awesome melee attacks with the multiple different guns and the what was it, like when you were able to like pick up down locusts and like hold them hostage or curb stomp their brains into the concrete. Each gun had its own special melee thing. Of course, you got the chainsaw, which everyone loves, the chainsaw bayonet, or the regular large bayonet that I think was on some of the other weapons. What was like, they were like light machine guns, but they had like these long bayonets on.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But each one of those weapons had their own unique melee ability, which was awesome to use in close combat. Which, of course, when the locusts rushed you, and they rushed you a lot, you know, you got to actually use those weapons, and they were meaningful. And if the locusts could actually counter those moves, and then you could like get into epic, you know, chainsaw battles, or you and a buddy could actually team up on one locust with 2 chainsaw bayonets and just carve them in half from 2 different directions.
Yeah.
You don't get that kind of stuff in Halo. I'm sorry, but you just don't.
I would give it to him. Gears of War does have the more innovative and creative and more interactive gameplay system. And again, like I said, Gears of War is a third person. Halo is the first person. Like you said, there are more ways you can kill enemies, especially with like each like you said, weapon has a different finisher to it. All right, let me say, ask you this then: Halo or Gears of War, when it comes to the weapons, which one had more unique weapons?
No, that would definitely go to Halo, because you got different factions' weapons, but it seems like in Gears of War with the Locust weapons, they didn't seem to always be all that different from.
They about had the same.
Yeah, maybe about the difference was like the boom shot and stuff like that. Those were a little bit different, but most of the time the weapons seemed kind of similar. But in Halo, almost every single weapon is completely different from the next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Covenant's weapons differ massively from humanity's weapons that they have. Battle rifles are different from assault rifles, and pistols, of course, are just pistols.
Then they got the little charging pistols that the grunts usually have. They have the plasma ones.
Then you got the Needler.
The Needler, everybody loves that thing.
Which I'm still pissed about how they took out the dual wielding in, 3 and above.
I was too, but then I started thinking, I was like, it's awesome when you dual wield the Needlers on somebody, but it sucks when they do it to you. But when you get it, you're grade A. You are grade A. All right, so gameplay mechanics work more in Gears of War's favor, but Halo does have more unique weaponry. Okay, let me ask you about this then. The multiplayer. Which one you think had a better multiplayer experience? In fact, be more specific. In campaign and multiplayer, like online, offline and online. Yeah,
I liked Halo's multiplayer simply because I'm always more of that. Shut up, phone. Simply because I'm just more of a first-person shooter person myself. And even though I've basically evolved from playing arcade shooters like that to playing more games like Battlefield now these days, I would still prefer in that case to play a Halo 3 multiplayer game versus Gears of War PvE. If we're playing PvP, I would much rather Halo over Gears of War. Now, if we're going to play PvE, like waves, I'm definitely going to take Gears of War, because Gears of War did one thing well in their multiplayer, and that was horde mode. I hate Gears of War PvP because everyone just runs around with the Nashor shotgun hiding around corners, and as soon as you round a corner, bam, you get shot once with the Nashor and you get blown into pieces.
You get turned into hamburger meat, and I ain't gonna lie, that animation is funny.
So PvP definitely belongs to Halo because they got that classic arcade multiplayer gameplay. everyone jumping around like a bunch of morons. But
And Halo 2, without a doubt, put multiplayer on the map, and it's still good today.
Halo 2 and Halo 3 had the best multiplayer. Still sad that, like I said, they took the dual wielding out of Halo 3, but you know, I can live with that. They had some great maps on there too, anyways. And they still had the vehicular, you know, you can still use vehicles and everything in that mode too. But yeah, PvP, Halo, PvE, definitely Gears of War.
I will give it to you on that because I'm going to extend that into the game modes, which was another thing that we was going to get to talking to. Now, I will say it's good on Halo when you're playing co-op online. I've yet to try to do it 4-way. I kind of wanted to play like the main campaign 4-way. Not sure if you could do that, but I played co-op with at least one other person here and there. It's fun. Gears of War is about the same thing, but I think Gears of War 3 took it up a notch because in Gears of War 3, you can play up to 4 people on co-op.
Which I never did because I never knew that many people who owned the game.
But I would when it came to the campaign in that aspect, I would say Gears of War kind of took it because you get to play with 4 people, you know, and there's nothing wrong. That's always awesome. That is always freaking awesome. And like I said, extended into the different modes. And like you said, you know, there's the PvP for the Gears of War mode, which, you know, Halo would take that. Then you said the Horde mode, which Halo came out with a Horde mode, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but Gears of War did better.
Oh, yeah.
And what is some more? Gears of War also had, with 3, which introduced one of the best multiplayer modes.
Which one?
The one where you get to play as the Locust.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. The only 2 problems I had with it was too limited and there wasn't enough waves. You only play like 12 waves. And by the time you get to the like 10th wave, that's when you can kind of turn into some of the bigger stuff. But and I'm kind of torn because there's some things, extra modes that Halo had that Gears of War didn't have. Like there was you could build your map, the customizable maps,
which I never utilized.
I did it once or twice, and it was pretty cool. The only problem I had was like everybody was goofing around building, so we didn't like actually play the map to fight each other. But it was actually pretty cool. Also, there was what was it? Yeah, because it was called Forge mode. It was another mode that was on it, but I can't.
I didn't play Forge mode.
But yeah, that was it. Where you get to build your own. We get your build your own. Let me look this up. I cannot remember. Can't believe I can't remember what modes it was. Extra modes that were in. Okay, yeah. The firefight mode in Halo was the Horde mode in Gears of War. Okay. Well, maybe I'm thinking about Halo 4, and I don't want to, again, go that far, but... Profile. Look at that. I didn't ask you for all that.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
Yeah, I can't. I think that was actually it. VIP and Infection, but they were all basically.
What was that? What was the game mode where you got the ball? What was that called? That was called something.
Oh, you talking about when we were? That was like a different, a part of the whole team battle thing.
Yeah, because everyone loved that game mode, but I can't remember the fucking name of it.
It was. I know that was King of the Hill. Was it football or something like that?
No, it wasn't football.
I know what you're talking about. It was King of the Hill. There was deathmatch. There was the bigger team deathmatch. There was a free fall. There were the 2-on-2 teams, which Gears of War 3 ended up having. I remember what you were talking about. The Capture the Flag was one of them.
I mean, classic Slayer was what I always played.
Yeah, I was more on Slayer than anything else, or the Team Slayer. That was more my cup of tea. I don't see it. That's
I
weird.
don't see it on there either.
Huh. Let me see. But you know, as far as the modes, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I mean, it could make the case that Gears of War had a horror mode, and that because I love horror. It's awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, well, here you go. Yeah. Whatever that ball. Well, anyway, it was a game on. It was a mode in the multiplayer Halo where you got to have. What was it?
You grabbed this ball and you brought it back to your base.
Yeah, and you had to make sure that none of your opposing team killed you.
Yeah,
and got it. I can't remember the dang multiplayer. Well, I know I did it a couple of times. It was actually pretty fun. I mean, in fact, didn't we do it together at one point?
Yeah. Me, you, and Ray all played.
Yeah. Okay. But I don't know why I slipped in my mind, but that was actually a fun mode. But like I said, I'm kind of torn.
I think I'd still give it to Halo when it comes to multiplayer.
Okay. We'll go with Halo. Now, we probably should have mentioned this part, but you know me, I'm all over the place. But I don't care. Graphics.
Gears of War.
I'm kind of torn again. I will give it to Gears of War because of well, are we going on the basis of how the graphics started out and then got better, or just like because if you're going to go that route, Gears of War, yes, because Halo's graphics hadn't aged well, but as the games, probably about the third game is more.
Halo's graphics have been basically consistent, to be honest, except for the jump between Halo 2 and Halo 3 and plus all that. Yeah, the jump was huge because Halo 2 was on the original first Xbox. And then you got the Xbox 360 hit the market, and then you got Halo 3, which of course the graphics jumped massively between the original Xbox and the 360. Now you've got the Xbox One, and then you got the Xbox One S, and soon we're going to have the Xbox One X.
And there's going to be the Xbox Black, and then there's going to be the Xbox White, and there's going to be the Xbox Sun.
But from what I've seen, when I played ODST and Halo 3 on the 360, the graphics were basically the same.
Oh, I knocked this out. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna stop lying to myself. Gears of War had the better graphics.
Yeah, I think they did too.
Because like I said, first two Halos were kind of crappy. The third one looked better. It was better. It did look better. But then when you look at like play Halo 4 or you play Halo Reach and you go back, you play Halo 3, you realize just how the graphics ain't as good as you thought they were. Yeah. they're not as good. So Gears of War all the way, and that includes cinematics as well as in-game.
The cinematics definitely.
Okay, in-game design, like level design too.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
I still like when it comes to that, Gears of War still comes out on top, to be honest.
Okay. Now we would again if it was like Halo 4 or something like that, then I'd go with Halo 4 saved it because them graphics was realistic, but can't go there. I'm so sorry, I don't have this trump card to be pulling. All right, soundtrack.
Halo.
Gotta give it to Halo because I can't really think of.
I don't have a single memorable Gears of War track in my brain.
I downloaded one, and it was like because it was like one 15-second part of the song. I ended up downloading a whole level song. Still don't care about most of the songs except for that little 15-minute part, which I might loop it or something.
I just didn't care about Gears of War soundtrack at all.
Okay.
Which I can understand though why they didn't really. That wasn't one of their focal points, anyways. But you knew from the very get go in Halo when you launched Halo that soundtrack was one of the biggest things that they put a lot of effort into that orchestra.
Yeah, they went into it. And that game definitely makes it like you ready to go to war. It's catchy.
I mean, it was so
awesome.
great that it got an official track in Guitar Hero, and probably another of those maybe Rocksmith or whatever. That soundtrack was that good and that big that it was able to be carried over to other games.
And it's been remixed so many freaking the Halo thing been remixed so many times. In fact, Madam B, we were just listening to them the other night. She pulled up a version where it was nothing but the strings, and I ended up pulling the whole rock version, and then Ray ended up having one of the versions too. I was like, all right, so yep, soundtrack all the way, voice performances. I'm about there even.
I'd probably give it a little bit more to Gears because I think they had more
because they had more characters.
Yeah, and they were more relatable. And of course, when you have more characters to relate to, you care more about their voice performance.
Okay, we'll go with that. You said okay, it's gonna be more Gears, and out of just the performances themselves, I say they're about even. But I will admit, yeah, they had more characters to have more voices on the Gears also. All right. Match this. Overall experiences, which one would you go with? Halo Combat Evolved or Gears of War 1? Making them think, yeah. Woo! Starting to make you think, huh? Hateful Eight.
I think I'd go with. Gears of War 1.
I'm going with Halo 1. All right, Halo 2, Gears of War 2.
Halo 2.
Halo 2. Halo 3, Gears of War 3.
I don't know if I can make that decision, to be honest.
I gotta be honest, Gears of War 3.
Because Halo 3 was my favorite out of all the Halos. But then again, Gears of War 3 was my favorite out of all the Gears of Wars.
So it seems like the whole Gears of War and Halo is about even. For the most part,
I think the playing field's a little bit too even on that.
So, all right, going forward with either one of these franchises, what would you want to see? I mean, I know personally you would want to see them like end it, but
yeah.
But if they said, "Hey, we want a Gears of War or a Halo idea," like what new gameplay mechanics you want them to implement into it? More characters, better story, more story. I don't know, side missions. Like, what else would you want to see included? And like I said, I played 4, and I think the whole Forerunner thing that they were going in is a nice direction. Didn't hear too many good things about 5, and I haven't heard much about Gears of War 4.
I think it'd be interesting to see if we can get an open world type Gears of War game.
And I personally would like to see, because we had Halo Wars, I would like to see Gears of War go in a direction like that too.
Like an RTS?
It's a war. Why not?
Be real limited on factions. And the whole point of most RTSs is you should have a wide expanse of factions to choose from. I'm a Dawn of War player where you've got so many factions to choose from, it's not even funny anymore. So, coming from me to play an RTS that downscales your choice of races to such a small degree, that'd be a killer for me.
I mean, I wouldn't, like I said, I played Halo Wars, and I didn't mind the fact that it was basically humans versus Covenant. Now, when they implemented the Flood into the game, I was more like, okay, at least on Skirmish, you should be able to play as the Flood, but you can't, which sucks. And I don't know much about Halo Wars 2. I hope they remedied that, but I highly doubt that they did. But I wouldn't mind seeing that on Gears of War. There'd be another aspect to it, like you actually governing how the war actually is. Like, say you go into Jacinto, You can tell your characters to move up, tell them to move back. In fact, there was a game mode in Judgment where, in Gears of War Judgment, where that's basically what you're doing. It's the Covenant, not the Covenant, the Locusts, and then the Gears are fighting for territory. And it's basically you're doing like this. Whoever gets the most territory wins. Like, do the same thing with Gears. And then Gears actually do have, they have the mech suits. They got the big, what was it? The big rig, huge tanks that was in 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have that enough to stick with the Locusts. So, like, why not? I mean, that's just me. I'm one of those guys that's like that. Like, if I played Mass Effect and Mass Effect kind of had the same thing, I'd be interested in it.
Mass Effect would have a better shot at making an RTS because there are numerous races in Mass Effect. There are so many races that you would be able to play as. So, I would see Mass Effect being more of an RTS than Gears of War or Halo.
Alright, would you accept Gears of War as a top-down shooter? Not because Halo had it and it was called Spartan Assault.
It could work. I mean, because if it's going to work for Halo, there's a good chance it could work for Gears of War, except for the RTS. Because, like I said, I saw Halo Wars and wasn't a fan of it.
Oh man, you don't know what you're missing, but I'm saying that knowing that you're not really a Halo fan like that.
And if you jump on if you jump on Dawn of War, you realize what you're missing in a real RTS.
Excuse me for all the sensitive RTS people out there.
And all the Warhammer fans out there know what I'm talking about. And no, I'm not talking about Dawn of War 2 or Dawn of War 3. Screw that shit. I'm talking about Dawn of War, what was it? Dawn of War Soulstorm, Dawn of War Dark Crusade, yeah. Those games, those are real RTSs.
Well, this conversation has taken a turn towards the Dark Crusade. But yeah, in any closing arguments, comments, topics, tips, or anything?
Like I said, these two games are really just too close to call as to, like, if you have to choose one or the other, it'd be virtually impossible to choose which one is actually better because they both have such strong points and they both have such strong down points as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and even with the graphics, the original Halo 1 and Halo 2 don't look too good, but they did come out with some HD remakes and they look far better. They look, especially Halo 2, it looked fantastic. Bordering like the realistic aspect. I was like, but that's only in the Master Chief Collection. And for the Halo Combat Evolved HD remake, it was the anniversary, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, where it was HD up. But you can't play Halo 2 by itself because it's with the Master Chief Collection. Worth getting. Definitely worth getting. And one other thing I wanted to jump on between these two franchises, and that's also the DLC. And when it comes to DLC, I will say Gears of War did better.
I wouldn't really know because I didn't purchase any of their DLC.
Most of the Halo aspect that they did was pretty much multiplayer maps and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, there was that. I think that was the only time I really dabbled in any of those DLCs.
And I think I don't want to. Was it in Halo Reach or was it in Halo 3? I'm not sure. One of the two games actually allowed you to customize your character. And no, that's in Reach. That was in Reach.
Yeah,
okay, never mind. But anyways, in closing, again, we can't call it. They're about even. If you have not played Gears of War or Halo, check them out. They're a great series. For the first-person shooters, Halo is awesome. For the third-person, Gears of War, both fantastic stories, great gameplay. Get them, love them, learn them, play them.
In the end, I think it really just it's going to come down to what your personal preference is. But some people like us, where we play both, we kind of choose both. So, but others. have their personal preference. They're going to choose Gears. They're going to choose Halo.
Mm-hmm. And so, guys, in the comment section below, let us know which one of these awesome franchises is your favorite, and also why. Because it'd be a nice conversation to have. And be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, the notification button to get the best of what's going on here on the Nerd Chase channel. Also, Zach has his own channel, which we're going to put in the link in the bar below too. Panzer Elite
25.
Panzer Elite 25. He does do some gameplay, and hopefully have him back on the show again, which we probably going to do it because I had to twist his arm to get him here. Not really, I just asked.
I'll say no, you didn't.
But anyways, guys, we will catch you guys later, and me and Zach are out.